And so we're on week 2 of Balance is Strength. If you have blocks at home to be able to use, grab those. We do have a pose or two where we will invite them in. And if you don't have blocks, just something to put under your hands to lift the floor up a little bit will work just as well. We're going to start this morning in one of 2 places. We're going to start either in Shavasana or in supported fish. So if you're coming into supported fish, use your blocks. You can use a bolster too if you have it to make it a little softer on your body. One block is going to come either between your shoulder blades or across your lower ribs. So between the shoulder blades or sideways across the lower ribs, just to lift the heart. The second block is going to come underneath your head, just as a gentle support so your neck is not dropping back in an uncomfortable way. If you're coming to Shavasana, just find a space that feels really great for you. Then let the legs just come wherever you feel like they want to be. You can bring soles of feet together if you want to bring that stronger sensation in your body. You can take the legs long, you can bend the knees to the mat. Let the hands find their way to the floor, and if your upper body is lifted on your supports, feel this open through the heart, through the front line of your shoulders. Big sigh. I want you to bring all of your awareness into the way that your breath is moving, so that you feel your belly rise. Your ribs expand outward with a big, deep inhale and come right up into the very top of your lungs. And you can slowly reverse that or let them go in heavy sighs. Here is where you're going to notice how you're really feeling. And that doesn't mean just physically. It means energetically, it means emotionally. So see if you can relax. Notice where you're holding tension in the body and see if you can let it start to melt away. And then notice how your strength feels as if it's vibing it all through your body, and then set yourself a bit of an intention as we get ready to move. Whether you're wanting to work nice and strong, or whether you're needing to be kind to yourself as you move this morning. Full deep breath in. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And if you're in a supported fish, bring hands to the back of your head. Just guide, bring chin to chest. And then come to your side. So moving slow. Set aside your support. And come all the way down. Pause. take one more breath right here. We're going to make our way back to our back. So line the spine, let your feet come to the floor. Let's take a figure four. We're just going to wake the body up a little bit this morning. So cross the right leg at the ankle over the left knee. We're going to bring the left leg towards the chest, and you can reach through the hole up over top of the knee. If you're coming through you're going to bind either behind the thigh or over the shin. Let your tailbone get heavy to the floor. Let the shoulders melt back down. And you can rock here really, really slow, even just a little bit of a shift, and see if you can find a space where this is maybe a little stronger and feels really great. Three more breaths right here. Release whatever you might be holding onto so the left foot comes back down to the floor, leaving the legs exactly as they are in this figure four. We're going to shift the hips towards the right. We're going to turn this into a twist, and we're looking for the right foot to come to the floor and the right knee to stay rising up towards the ceiling. And your right shoulder might lift, that's okay. Find a way so the foot comes down. You can even take hold of the ankle if that feels a little more secure. And then let the right shoulder start to open back towards the floor. It might not come anywhere close, but just let it be heavy in that way. Open up through the side body, the hip, the outside of the thigh. No, you can always bring your legs closer to your chest. You can take them farther away. Make this structured so that it feels really good in your body. One more really deep breath. And then you're to close the right shoulder back towards the side. And then bring your whole self back with that figure four leg to your back. Uncross the legs. Adjust yourself as you need. I'm going to switch sides. So left ankle over right knee. Let's pick this up, bring it towards you. You're going to find your bind of choice here. Let the tailbone get heavy, shoulders melt back. Taking our time to really let the body open up this morning. So our whole practice today, we want to come to the word embodied in a little more intentional way. And when we embody our practice, it means that we move in a way that is authentic to ourselves so that it is safe and supported, but making our practice our own. But today we really want to flow through the body. So as we move through our different spaces, let's take one more breath here in our figure four. You're going to release the bind, let the foot come down. Scooch the hip towards the left. We're going to turn this into our twist on this side. So the left foot comes to the floor, the left knee's rising to the ceiling. The shoulder can shift, and then let it get heavy back towards the floor. Open up the arm if that feels okay. So as we move through our practice this morning, through some of the flows, we want to maybe let go of some of the very specific alignment and intentional structure in the end of our shapes and bring more flow and ease and I like to kind of call it goddess movement through. So really just moving freely as we move through the different shapes so that it feels really great in your body. But doing it still so it's safe. the amount of alignment that we need to keep ourselves safe and away from any type of accidental injury. Let's take one more breath right here. We're going to close the left shoulder towards the right. Then use your core, bring yourself back using the figure 4 legs as your anchor. Adjust the spine, uncross the legs so both feet come to the mat. Take a breath. We're going to take the legs long. And you want to adjust your low back so that little arch comes back in. So you might need to lift your hips and place them back down so you find that space. Let your legs be together. We're going to take our low boat here this morning. We've been working in a higher boat for the last couple of weeks. We're going to work low boat and come back into that balance practice. And so low boat, we take an opportunity to ground down at the sacrum. We lift the legs and the upper body as about 3 or 4 inches off the floor and use your core to engage inward. If that is a really, really strong place, whether it's just this morning or at all in your body, you can choose to lift just the legs. You can choose to lift just the upper body. We're going to do it twice. So maybe you start with one and on the second time you do the other, or you bring both together, completely your choice. So let your shoulders tuck under, the hands be at the sides, and energize them like they're reaching down to grab your heels. We're going to get full breath in here. On your next inhale, we're going to lift. Feel the core suction in towards the spine. Squeeze the glutes. You might feel a shake. It's okay, that's normal. That's all the muscles firing. Let's take one more full deep breath here, lift it. Really slow and controlled, let it come back down. Notice how you might feel really energized through the heart space. We're gonna do that one more time. Take a full breath in. And on your next inhale, we're gonna lift, picking up whatever feels right for you as you start your practice this morning. Reach to the hands, tuck in your chin. You can point through the heels or the toes, or just leave the feet neutral and use the muscles of the thighs to lift. Let's take 3 more breaths right here if we can. You come down when your body says it's time. Last breath in, big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Beautiful, bring knees to chest. Give yourself a rock and roll. We're gonna find our way to hands and knees. So you can come to your side or you can rock and roll the length of your spine and come all the way up. So we bring wrists under shoulders, knees under the hips. Take a few cat and cow here. So drop the core, lift the heart and the tail. Press the floor away and round. And you can shift and move here. Play with all of the movements through the spine. Inhale, drop the core, lift the heart. Exhale, round. We're going to take the hips back towards the heels, find a child's pose. With the arms stay forward, walk your arms as far forward as they'll go, like someone's drawing your hips back and your wrists forward, really long and engaged, right up on fingertips. Full breath here. Exhale, the hands come to the floor. So here's where we really want to embody the flow. We're going to move through our striking cobra. So inhale, we're going to sway up through cat. Shift forward through something that resembles plank. With control, come all the way down. Sweep the heart forward, find your cobra. Exhale, come down. Press the floor, sweep through a rounded spine and hips come back to a child's. Inhale again, sweeping rounded through the spine, through something that resembles plank. Use your strength though to come all the way down. Sweep up, find your cobra, squeeze the shoulder blades back, bend the elbows. Reach the heart forward. Exhale down. Press the floor around the spine. Take the child's. One more, really sweeping around. Sweep into that plank. Take the heart down with control. Sweep up into your fuller cobra. You can sway back and forth. We want to reach into the spaces in the body that feel like they need to open. Trying to help counter some of the effects of our time change. Exhale, come down. Press the floor away around the spine. We're going to take our child's push-ups. So we're going to take 3, and we're not going to take a pause in between them. We'll just flow through the whole thing. So we'll take a big breath here. Your next inhale, you're going to come up towards knee plank. Take a pause here, feel strong. Lower down to the floor. Press back to child's pose. There's one. Inhale, come back up to that plank. And take a moment here to be strong. So the chin's away from the chest. Press the floor away, feel the core. Let's lower control to the mat. Press back to child's. Last one. Inhale, come up to the plank. Take a breath. Align yourself, chin from the chest. Lower all the way down to the floor. Back to child's. Beautiful. Take a breath here. We're going to come up towards hands and knees again. We're going to tuck the toes under and take a toe stand. So toes come under. You might need to reach back and bring the baby toe along because it tends to try and run away. And mindful here, right? You are going to work in a space that feels good for you. So the hands can stay on the floor. You can stay leaning forward with hands on thighs. If the space is available in the feet, you lift the heart. Eyes can close. Hands can be at center. Can be on your thighs. Whatever feels good. Lots of breath. And if for any reason the body starts to speak loudly, you know you can bring your heart forward. You can bring your hands back down. Let's see here, you can adjust, right? Take the arch out of the spine, the shoulders melt back down. Notice if your face is really engaged and let it soften. We got 3 more breaths here, guys. Let it be nice and slow. Try not to rush them. Really breathe into that sense of discomfort that's rising. And then come forward, keep the toes tucked under, hands come down towards the mat. We come towards that tabletop with the toes tucked. Take a breath. That first strong release happens. And then untuck one toe and just place the top of the foot down. Breathe through that crunchy sensation that might be there. Opposite toes, untuck, place the top of the foot down. And before we do anything with the feet, we're going to use this pause to open up our wrists. So we're going to turn the fingers towards the outer edges of your mat. Bring your wrists towards each other. So as much as your shoulders will allow. And then on the inhale, we're going to press the base of the palms down, bring the heart forward, make a circle. Choose a direction, doesn't matter which one. Moving really slow with your breath. Keeping the palms really intending down towards the floor as you work through these circles to open up the palm of the hand, the wrist, and the forearm. And while we're doing this, the toes are recovering. Let's take one more breath so that you bring the heart forward and then change directions. One more breath here. Bring your heart forward. Press the base of the palms down. Feel it be really strong. Bring your heart, your shoulders over the wrists. We're going to peel one hand up. Press the back of the wrist down towards the floor. Find a little bit of a counter release. Wiggle the fingers, open and close the hand. Roll out the wrist. That hand comes down to support. You peel the other hand up and off. Wrist presses down. Slow breath here. And then find the release to the hand. Wiggle the fingers, open and close. Roll out the rest. Both hands come down. Now maybe the toes don't need so much attention, but you can open and close the toes and roll out your ankles. Beautiful. Feet come back down. We're going to walk the hands back towards the knees, and we're going to pop up into our squat. So tuck the toes under, pop yourself up. We're going to open the knees out to the side. And you might need to adjust a little bit. We're going to press the base of all the toes down really strong into the floor, so your feet are really flexed here on your toes. We're going to take this Buddha balance that we worked with a little bit last week. And you can let your heels press into each other. That gives you a bit of a tripod of stability. And you're looking to engage the muscles around the sit bones, turn on your core. Now we're finding our drishti. Remember we spoke of that last week? That's something on the floor about 6 feet in front of you where you can focus your gaze and you bring everything energetically, physically, visually inward to that space so that you can find your balance. Slow breath. Make sure that you're breathing. If you're holding your breath here, you're eventually going to topple because you can only hold the breath for so long. And yoga is all about the breath. Let's take one more breath here if you can hold it. This is super strong, I know. It's beautiful though. Then the hands come back down. Close the knees back towards one another. We're going to turn this into our standing fold. So as you start to lift the hips, the heels come down. So keep the knees bent enough that the feet engage really well to the floor. And then bring the heart down, go over the head and neck so that your belly comes towards the thighs. Ragdoll pose here. So you lift your hips as much as feels good as you start to open up the back of the hamstrings. But keep your torso towards the legs. Slow breath. Bend the knees a lot. We're going to come all the way up to stand. Reach for the sky. There's the back bend. You can open the arms out into a lotus. Inhale, sweep up. Draw down to heart. Keep the eyes closed, big sighing breath here. And root your feet down all four corners. So the outsides of the feet by the balls of the feet, either side of the heels. And I want you just to externally rotate the legs, just a touch. You're going to feel your arches lift. Feel really strong in your mountain. Take a full breath here. And then let it go. Shake yourself out. We're going to move towards the top of the mat. And anything that maybe needs to move, like you need to release your neck a little bit, take that movement. Always able to take any movement you need. Okay, so feet are hip width. We're going to come back into this really strong mountain. Hands at heart. Close the eyes. Take a breath. Now we're going to play in a couple of different kinds of balance this morning, bringing back in that strength aspect. Remember, it's your practice, so you work in a space that feels good for you. Inhale, and sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, the heart drops down into that ragdoll. Inhale, we're going to lengthen the legs, walk the hands up the shins and come to a flat back. So squeeze the shoulder blades back. Hips are back, crown of the head is forward. Exhale, fold, a little bend in the knees again. Bend the knees a lot. We're going to come all the way up to stand. Option for that back bend lotus where you let the arms just splay back. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, let's bring it back down into our fold. Come through flat back. Hips back, crown of the head forward. Really engage the core. Exhale, fold. We're going to bend the knees enough that the hands come down to the mat. We're going to step the right foot back, find our runner's lunge. We haven't been here very much for the past few weeks, so this might feel amazing to be back, or not so much. So you might bring blocks in to lift the heart so you can find lots of length in the spine as you let the hips start to drop. Press the back heel towards the back of the mat. Reach the crown of the head forward. Slow breath. We're going to move through some different movement patterns today. So give yourself a little bit of compassion if you're feeling a little lost as we move. It's okay. Take one more breath here. We're going to step the front foot back to downward facing dog. So hands find the floor or block, step back. Very gently walk the dog, tie it to breath. So press one heel, and on your inhale, you can switch and press down the opposite. And when you're ready, let both heels get heavy. The knees can be bent a little or a lot. Remember, we're pressing the floor away so the heart reaches back towards those big toes. Keep the chin away from the chest so it comes between the biceps. And then that external rotation to the shoulders so you feel that space across the back expand. You feel really strong here. We're going to shift the weight into the left foot to take the right foot up into the air, three-legged dog. Flex the foot and press the heel high. You want to try and keep the hips closed so they're squaring down towards the floor. Press the floor away so the heart reaches back for the standing big toe. Raise that heel just a touch higher. We're going to bend the lifted knee, turn this into a twisted dog. So try and keep your shoulders squaring down towards the floor as you move the lifted foot like you're trying to touch it to the top of your head. So not happening, but that's the feeling that you have here as you open up the side body. Inhale, come back to your three-legged dog. Lots of balance, super strong here. Take a full deep breath in. We're going to bring the lifted leg, the knee towards the chest. So inhale, knee comes to chest, shoulders come over the wrists. Press the floor away, lift the hips just a little bit. Take a breath, big hover here. And then this knee that's hovering, bring it down to the floor. Ooh, take a breath. Now we're going to shift a little bit. So the back leg shifts back further. The knee that's on the mat, bring it underneath the hip. Now we are in extended table. Take a full breath here. If your hands aren't quite underneath your shoulders, make that adjustment so that you feel really strong and stable here. We're going to lift the back leg. Reach the right hand forward, flying bird dog. Keep pressing through the heel, reach through the fingers. Slow, deep breath. You're trying to be parallel to the mat. So notice if you're sagging a little bit or if you're way up and you're really struggling through the core, you want everything to come straight out of the joint that it's reaching from and be parallel to the mat. Take one more big breath here. Now put down what's lifted. The hand comes down, the knee comes down, and we switch. Right leg goes back, left hand comes forward. On your breath, switch. Hands down, lift. Exhale down. Right leg back, left hand forward. And down. Lifting again, left leg up, right hand. Then pause right here. The hand's going to come down to the mat. The back leg is still lifted. Take a full breath, press the floor away. We're going to step this back foot that's elevated from your hip. It's coming straight out. We're going to step that to the outside of your left hand. Take a full breath in. Step it forward. Now we're going to turn those toes to the outside of your mat. So externally rotating that leg. Your right hand comes underneath your face. We're going to tuck the toes under on your right leg and lengthen. And now inhale the left arm up into the air. This is a version of a side plank. It's also something that resembles easy twist. There's a lot of balance here because of the way we came in. It's not our normal flow in. Slow, deep breath. If you feel really unstable, engage. So squeeze the sit bones, engage the core, press the floor away with what's down. Exhale, bring that lifted hand back down towards the floor. You're going to move your hands so they're underneath your shoulders. Turn the toes on the left foot forward. Now you find yourself in a runner's lunge. So adjust so that your hands frame that front foot. Take a full deep breath in. Back foot's going to step up. Take your fold. Let yourself hang. Notice a sudden feeling of vitality that comes even with that little bit of fatigue. Bend the knees a lot. Come all the way up to stand. Reach for the sky. There's that back bend if you like it. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Coming up through your flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a lot so the hands come down. This time, left foot steps back. Find our runner's lunge. Spend a little bit of time here. You can shift and move it. Try and bring your knee, though, so that it's over the ankle. Notice if you're kind of shifting back with the weight heavy in the back foot, and put it so that it's equal into both feet. Let's take one more full breath here. And then we're going to step the front foot back to downward facing dog. You can walk it out again, shift and move. Find your way when you're ready into your strong, structured down dog. Heart reaching. Shoulders are moving away from the spine. You're going to put the weight into the right foot. Left foot comes up into the air, three-legged dog. Flex the foot so the heel is leading and it's reaching up, up, up. Heart is moving towards the standing big toe. Bend the lifted knee. Twisted three-legged dog. So keep your shoulders squared to the floor. And if you notice that they shift towards the outside of the mat, that's okay. Just shift them back. You'll feel the twist through the spine as you reach that toe, like you want to touch the top of your head. Full breath. Come back to your three-legged dog. Reach the heart, flex the foot. We're going to come to that hover. So with an inhale, bring the left knee towards the chest. Shoulders come over the wrists. Lift the hips, come right up on the toes of the back foot. And then the knee comes down. You're going to scooch your back leg back just a little bit. And you're going to bring your left knee underneath your hip. So we're in extended table. Lift the right leg, flex the foot. Adjust your hands if you need, and then bring the left hand forward, flying bird dog. And again, you're really trying to find something that is parallel with the floor. Knowing here you have options, right? If this is a lot in your practice this morning, then the hand can always come down or the knee can come down. One more breath right here. We're going to start that switch. So on the exhale, hand and knee come down. Switch to the other side. Inhale, lift, really slow, mindful. Let it come back down. Switch. Switch. There's lots of balance here, but also lots of strength. Switch it up one more time. There we go, lift. We're gonna switch it one more time because we're on the wrong side. Here we go. So the left hand's forward, the right leg is back. Bring the hand back down to the floor. We're gonna step the right leg to the outside of the right hand. There we go. And we're gonna turn these toes to the outside edge of your mat. Tuck the left toes under, extend the leg. And place the left hand under the face and inhale. Turn this into our version of our side plank, our easy twist. Slow, deep breath here. See if you can lift your hips, open the heart. Press into the feet to do that. Use the hand that's down to find your rotation. One more breath. Exhale, hand comes down first to the inside of the foot. And then we're going to turn the toes towards the top of the mat. We're going to turn this into our runner's lunge. So we're going to frame the front foot. Heel toe the foot in line where it needs to be for our runner's lunge. Take a breath right here. We're going to set the back foot up to the top of the mat. Take your ragdoll fold. Ooh. Bend the knees a lot. Come all the way up to stand. There's that back bend if you want it. And then exhale down through heart. Give yourself a shake. Maybe you need a sip of water or coffee. Make any adjustments that you might need. We're going to come to about the middle of our mat. A little bit more fun balance work as we start to get closer to closing practice this morning. So this is Whomping Willow. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a big Harry Potter fan. So this is a fun tree. And by fun, it means that, yeah, you're probably gonna fall out of it. So know that in advance and be okay with it. All right, so we're gonna come, so we're about hip width with the feet. Bring hands to heart. There's a lot of balance work here and your legs will probably fatigue. So you touch down or come out whenever you need to or you want to. Okay, just take a full breath here. We're gonna let the hands drop down to the sides, put the weight into the left foot, bring the right knee up towards the body. And if you flex the foot, that helps give you lift because it helps engage the thigh muscles. Take a full breath here. And then this leg is gonna move back onto a 45-degree angle. So take it back, we're not touching down, a little bit of a lean forward. So squeeze the shoulders back and reach the hands back. This is a version of Warrior 3. And then we're gonna step back into crescent lunge. So bend the front knee, back toes find the floor. Inhale, you can take the arms up. See if you can bring your front knee over the ankle. Take a full breath here. Exhale, the hands come back down along the sides. We're gonna press the weight back into the front foot, back into Warrior 3. Inhale, come back up to parallel tree. Exhale, take it back to the Warrior 3. Step back into your crescent lunge. Come back into Warrior 3. It's a modified version, that's okay. Come back up into our parallel tree. Hands come down. We're gonna turn this into regular tree. So when we externally rotate the knee, your foot can come to the outside of the calf. It can come just above the knee, or if you want to bring it higher, you place it wherever feels best on the inside of your standing leg. And your standing leg and your foot move towards each other, and that helps you rise up in your tree. Now find your drishti, hands come to heart. What's the whomping part? It's our arms. So you're welcome to stay right here. Or take a full breath in. Let it go. And then we're going to take the arms straight forward. Inhale, we're going to open out into a T. And then we're going to take a side bend. So the left arm comes down along the side of the body or behind the low back. Right arm reaches up and over, side bend here. Reach through the fingers. Really, really challenging. Inhale, come back to the tree. Your drishti is important. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, they come back down to heart. Inhale, forward. Exhale, to a T. Take the side bend. Inhale, come back to the T. Hands reach up overhead. And they come back down to heart. Okay, let's close the knee back to our parallel tree. Back down on the floor. Give yourself a shake. The calf muscles and your feet are probably speaking really vulgar words to you right now. Coming back to our parallel. Hands at heart. Take a full breath. Now, if that was your good side, this side will be fun. And if it's the opposite is true, then you might feel really successful on this side. Either way, just have fun with it. Let's take a full breath in, reach all the way up. Exhale, take the hands down towards the sides. We're going to pick up the left leg, bring the thigh towards the body. Flex the foot to help with the lift. Hands are down. Let them reach, really energize to help give you that length to the body. And if you haven't already, find your focus point, your drishti. We're going to take this leg back on the 45, so that modified version of warrior 3. Then step back into the crescent lunge. Inhale, hands come up. Let the hands come back down to the sides. Shift the weight back into the right foot. Bring the knee back up. Hands reach overhead if you like. Again, take the hands back down. Come back into that modified warrior 3. Step back into our crescent lunge. Hands reach up. Bring the hands back down. Last time, shift the weight back into the front leg. Bring the knee all the way up and forward. And leave the hands down for now. We're going to turn this into our tree. So you're going to turn the knee out towards the side and know that this is not all the way out, right? We're opening the hip as much as feels good. So whatever is available in your external rotation. And then the foot finds its home, wherever that might be for you this morning. And it can be different on the side than it was on the other. Take a moment to find stability in your tray. And then see if you can bring hands to heart. Take a breath. And then maybe we try our Whomping Willow. So inhale, take the hands forward. And then exhale out into a T. We take our side bend to the right. Inhale, come back to our tree. Take the hands up overhead. Exhale, bring them down through heart. You can tell this is not my good side. Inhale, reaching forward. Take them out into a T. Take that side bend. Come back through your T. Hands up overhead. And exhale down through heart. Beautiful. Bring the hands into the sides. Bring the knee back up, up, up. Put the foot down and give yourself a shake. Now, if your feet are really, really tight, or the muscles in them are things that we haven't really worked before, or you haven't focused on a lot in practice, then your feet might really, really hurt when you balance. So be kind to yourself when you do that. And then we're going to do a little bit of work on our feet when we come down. So let's take a big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Let's just walk it out here. So bend one knee, flex the toes, switch it over, bend the opposite. Let's do that one more time. And then exhale, let both heels come down to the floor. We're going to bend the knees a lot so the hands come to the mat, and then one knee at a time come down. And just find your way into a child's pose of your choice. Let's take one more breath here. And then we'll start to make our way towards seated. So finding yourself, your own path there. We're going to take the right leg straight forward and bend the left knee. Bring the foot in towards the longer leg. So almost like a tree. This is half butterfly. In yang practice, hatha practice, we call it head to knee pose. And if your low back is pushing back because your pelvis tilts that way, you can fold your mat over, your blanket, you can pop it underneath so that you bring your pelvis forward. It makes your forward fold much more accessible. Take a full breath in. We're going to come all the way up nice and tall. Bring your hands in towards your heart. On the exhale, I want you to reach them past the foot. So flex the toes, reach the heart forward. Let the movement come from the hips. So it's like you're drawing your belly button towards the ankle on the bent foot. Reach, reach, reach. And then one more breath. See if you can get a little bit more length in your heart, in your spine. Draw this leg, the thigh, up into the hip socket so that you feel your hips kind of square off. And on the exhale, the hands come down. You can let them arrive wherever they find. So your shin, your ankle, maybe they find your foot. Just let the upper body start to get heavy. Try not to round it. We're not looking to place the head down. We're letting the heart melt towards the extended leg. And here you can play a little bit. So where your upper body arrives, whether you swing it a little bit closer to the extended leg, or maybe you swing it a little bit away. It's where your heart shines here. You can find a lot of sensations through the back line of the extended leg and hips by just subtle exploring with the way that you allow your upper body to land. And see if you can relax that extended leg. It's really tired from all the balance. One more breath. Let the hands come to the floor to help guide you back up. The foot that's bent in towards our leg. We're just going to move it away a little bit so that we can get access to it. And take a moment to give yourself a little bit of a foot massage. And work through the bottom of the sole, out through the edges of the foot from the middle. Squeezes to whatever feels good. You can kind of shift and move it. You start to feel all the really tight fascia through the top of the foot. And don't forget your toes. Give them a little bit of love. And then we're going to pick up this left leg and cross it over. We're going to take a seated twist. If it's accessible, the right leg, you can bend it and bring it in towards the outside of your left hip. This is not something that's available for everybody. It takes a lot of rotation on one leg and a bit of release to the outside of the left one. So you can choose here how you're set up. We're going to take our right arm and wrap it around the left knee. Take a big inhale, get tall through the spine, and then the opposite hand comes behind you. Now try not to lean back. Just let that hand be a guide. And if your hand doesn't find the mat, then just place something underneath it behind you. Keep the tall spine. Externally rotate everything. Moving from the mid-spine. Open up the heart to the long edge of your mat. Your gaze starts to come along as well. Trying to keep lots of reach to the crown of the head. And on the exhale, you settle into the twist. And if you have a lot of rotation through your spine, this right arm, maybe it comes to the inside of the left knee to give yourself just a little bit more to find support as you twist. But twists don't have to be incredibly deep to be really restorative. Just make sure you can still breathe. Let's take one more full breath here. Notice if you have a lot of engaged muscles and let them go on that big sigh. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to unwrap your legs, take them forward. Just let them sway side to side. You can bend the knees and let them windshield wiper if that feels better through the hips. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So the left leg is long, bring the right leg in. And again, adjust so that your pelvis is intending forward so that you have more access in your fold. Take a full breath in, draw the energy in towards the heart, and on the exhale, you're gonna reach to the heart, reach the arms as far forward as they'll go. Remember, we're intending your belly button towards the ankle of the bent leg. Full breath here, get really long, so try not to round or tuck in your chin. Try and stay long and reaching. Exhale, the hands come down wherever they land. And then let the upper body get heavy. Keep reaching the chin for the shin. But let this be soft. Let's take one more full breath here. Hands come down to help guide you back through center. We're going to give some love to this foot. So the right foot, take that moment to give yourself a really beautiful foot massage right up through all the spaces that maybe are speaking to you while we were working on our balance. Because how often do you take time out of your day to give yourself this kind of attention? Probably not very often. And don't let the toes out. Beautiful. And then we're going to cross the right leg over the left. Again, the option is to bend that left heel towards the outside of the right hip. So give yourself a moment to adjust. We're going to wrap the left arm around the knee. Right hand comes in behind. Inhale, get really tall. And then exhale, we start to twist. Remember, you have all the control here, and there's no goal in a twist other than to feel good through the side body and spine. You're going to feel it on the outside of the right leg. Let the gaze come as much as feels okay. Each inhale, you get a little taller. And each exhale, relax muscles, sink into your twist. Let's take one more full breath here. Exhale completely. Coming back through center. Unwrap your legs, feet to the floor. Take that windshield wiper. And then if you have blocks at home, perfect. If you're using books or something like that, they will work just great for this. We're going to come into a supported bridge. But as we find our way towards the floor, if you're going to take sweaters or socks for your Shavasana, you might want to take that moment to put those on now. And then when you're ready, we're going to come all the way down onto our back. Bring the knees, the chest, the shoulders, melt back. Feet can find the floor. Maybe you lift your heart just a little bit, find space across the front of the chest, shoulder blades tuck under. And then take whatever prop you're using in hand and just bring it down right beside you so it's really accessible. We're going to walk the heels towards your sit bones, or maybe you scoot your sit bones towards your heels, whatever works best for you. We're going to flow this just a little bit. So on an inhale, press the low back down, lift the hips up off the floor, squeeze the sit bone muscles. Keep the thighs intending towards each other. And then inhale, lift the hips up into the air, press strong into the floor. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, press the low back, lift the hips, and then let them reach for your ceiling. Get yourself to your highest point in your bridge. Squeeze the thighs. Move the chin away from the chest. Take a breath. Exhale, lower all the way down. One more just like that. Low back, hips, lift. If you want to tuck your shoulder blades under and get just a little bit more lift, feel really energized through this back bend. Take a breath, reach everything upward. Exhale, slowly untuck shoulders. Vertebrae at a time comes down. Take your block or your supports, whatever you're using. Inhale, lift the hips just enough to place that support underneath your sacrum. So the sacrum is the triangle bone right between your hips. Let the weight of that come down, your support. Be mindful of how high you take your support. But when you're really well supported here, you can just let everything go. Breathe into the gentle, supported back bend. Let it be really energizing. Find all that vitality. You can let your knees knock in if that feels better. If you want to walk them a little ways away from your supports, that might feel really nourishing as well. And take the opportunity here to breathe really well. And if your legs are walked away from your supports, just very gently mindful of the low back, bring them back. We're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest. And you can wrap your hands around the knee or behind the thigh. The left leg, now see if you can let it be longer. It doesn't have to come straight. You might notice that it wants to roll out to the side. That's okay. And come back to the awareness of breathing really well, right up into the heart space. Let's take 2 more breaths with the right knee drawn in towards the body. We're going to release that bind and let the foot come back down, mindful that the floor might still feel pretty far away. And we're going to switch. So let the left knee come in towards chest. Always feeling really safe on your supports. So take any adjustments that you need, and then see if you can find some length in the right leg as you draw the left knee in. And 2 more breaths right here. We're going to keep the left knee in towards the body, but release your bind and let your hands come to the outside of your support, whatever you're using. We're going to draw the right knee up towards the chest as well. So both knees come up into that cradle shape. And you're going to shift and move so you feel really solid on whatever support you're using underneath your sacrum. We're going to come up into waterfall pose. So when you're ready, we're going to reach the feet up towards the sky. And you want to see if you can get your ankles right over your knees right over your hips. So notice if your legs, if you look straight up and you can see your toes, then just take your heels back a little bit. You're going to find that perfect balance spot. And then once you get there, if it feels safe to let go of your supports, your hands might come to the sides. They might even reach up overhead if you feel really stable right here. And your legs don't have to be locked out. They can be a gentle bend in the knees. The feet don't have to be together. Just let them float. Start to really notice and observe what you feel through the feet, the front of the shins, down into the hips and the heart. Three more breaths right here, but you come down whenever you feel like that needs to happen. And if your arms are up overhead, bring them back down and bring them to the outside of your support once again so you feel really stable. Knees come down to chest and take a breath right here. And then 1 foot at a time is going to look for the floor. Make sure you bring your back bend in and notice the floor is going to feel really far away. Adjust as you need to feel really strong. Bring your heels towards your block and then press into them enough to lift the hips and take your support out from underneath. Hips come down. And just take a pause right here. Take any last movements that might feel necessary as you start to find your way into your Shavasana. So shift and move, maybe take a windshield wiper, a squeeze, or a twist. And then you can find your way to corpse pose, the legs long, the hands along your sides. You might come into pentacle pose where you splay open and take up lots of space. There's always the side or even seated. But as you arrive, feel really relaxed. Soften the face, relax the core. Shoulders, arms, legs start to melt. Take a full deep breath in so that the belly rises, the ribs open, and the heart lifts right up. Pause right there. The fullest breath, all contained. And when you feel like you need to let it go, big sigh. Very gently coming back to breath. Take that full deep inhale. Feel really revitalized. The big exhale to let go. Beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Move the wrists and the ankles. Allow your head to drop side to side. And let's take that full body stretch. Point the toes, reach the hands overhead. Big breath. And let it go. And then move any way that feel like you need. Maybe just a breath or two. Find a moment to smile as you start to find your way back up to seated. As you arrive, sit bones are heavy, heart comes nice and tall. Take a full breath. Take a moment to check in. So spring is a perfect time to start a gratitude practice if it's not something that you have in your day-to-day life. It's been 1 year since all this craziness started. It was actually 1 year ago today was my very last class that I taught for almost 4.5 months. And I am glad that this is not my last class for the next foreseeable future. I will definitely be here with you all next Sunday. And I am very grateful for that. So gratitude practice in the spring is amazing. It sets you forward in ways that maybe you don't even realize. It helps you find that motivation. So I invite you right now to find just anything that you're grateful for today. Just one little thing, let it shine up in your mind. And then bring hands to heart. I hope you have a fantastic, sunny Sunday. I will see you soon. Namaste.